Hey guys! So today I'm going to be doing the perfect palette tag. Now this tag has been on my agenda for quite a few months. I just didn't really have enough palettes, I think, to do this, so I wanted to accumulate a few more and really get to use them and decide, which ones belong in which category. Now I have 9 eyeshadow palettes with me right here, and those are the ones that I didn't pull apart yet, so I'll be able to choose from the 9 that I have. And I'm just going to begin with the questions, but I'm kind of cheating. I'm not really following the rules because I think that there's more than one palette per category. So there's 10 questions, and the first one is best packaging. So for me, I went with the packaging that is the most beautiful, and that would be the Esperanza palette by Kat Von D, and it looks like this. This is the cardboard packaging, and this is what it looks like on the inside. The back kind of looks the same for both, and it's just this really pretty, cute sugar skull, and it's very bright. And on the inside, it has like a full-size mirror right here with some flower details, and this is what the colors look like on the inside of the palette. But I just thought that, oh, I almost dropped it. I thought that this was so pretty and definitely worth mentioning for the best packaging. I also think that the Nude Tude has really cute packaging, and the Take Me to Brazil palette. I'll get to the Nude Tude one later, but I'm not going to mention this again. But look at this packaging. Take Me to Brazil. Isn't that so cool? So that one's definitely worth mentioning, but the packaging on some of these palettes is just really cool. But if I had to just pick one, it would definitely be the Esperanza by Kat Von D. Now the next question is which one has the best color payoff. Now I definitely had to think about this, but overall I think that the Balm's Nude Tude palette has the best color payoff. I find myself gravitating towards this when I'm looking for something either really black or really white. The white I put on the inside corners, and there's nothing whiter than the shade in this Nude Tude palette. Now I'm gonna open this and show you. Now see what I mean by packaging? This is so cool. But when I'm looking for something really white, I always go for this, and I hardly touched this. This is a palette that I would definitely recommend purchasing, if anything. The white is extremely white, the black is extremely black without having to buy any MAC eyeshadows and stuff. There's this dark chocolate brown here, and again, I hardly touched that, and the color payoff is just incredible. And that's just me hardly touching this. So I definitely use a lot of these colors because the white is just the whitest and the black is the blackest. I think I've already said that a couple times, so I'm going to stop now. So the third question is, which one is the most versatile? Now, when I purchased the Chocolate Bar palette, that's the reason why I bought it, is because I figured it would be very versatile. The only thing it's missing, I think, in my opinion, is a black, but I mean, you don't really need black. There's a shade in this palette that's really close to black, and it's this dark one right here. Now, my Chocolate Bar palette didn't actually come with a plastic insert, so I had to use the back of the box to figure out what the colors were called. So I can't sit here and tell you what the names are or anything like that, but look at this palette and tell me that this isn't one of the most versatile palettes you've ever seen. I literally use this shade all the time. We have a gold in here. This shade is really perfect for the inside corner of your eye. There's this champagne pinky white pearly color. Has a purple in there. There's a green. There's a matte pink. This is just one of the most versatile palettes I have personally ever seen because it has plenty of neutrals, but at the same time it has a few colors in there too. So I would definitely say that this for me is the most versatile. So when I had to decide which one was the best for traveling, because that's the next question, I probably have to give it to this Coastal Scents palette called Fall Festival, and this is another one of my go-to palettes. I love the colors in this palette. I do have I think there's only 3, but I have all 3 of these. There's a colorful one, and I think it's called Colorful Me or something, and then there's one that's pink base, and I think it's called like Winterberry or Think Pink, or I don't know. But anyways, this is the Fall Festival one, and I like this for traveling because it has all the shades that I need for just if I'm going away or something. I can pretty much get a lot of looks from using this. And I like the fact that it has a huge mirror. So if I'm like having to put my makeup on and somewhere that's not home, you know, where you have like the perfect lighting because you've already figured out your setup at home. So the mirror is good, and I just like the fact that it has all these shades. My favorite shades to work with on myself are orangey red shades, and it does have a few pops of color. It has a black in here, so that's good. It has like a matte skin tone shade, so this one is just, for me, like really great for traveling. I can get a lot of looks using this palette, and it's compact and it's pretty sturdy, so that's why I like this for traveling. Next question, what's your biggest regret? So the one that I regret buying, I guess, is I don't actually have it on me, so it kind of stinks. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about, but it's from BH Cosmetics, and it's the San Francisco palette. So that little palette, it's small, but it's like a tri-fold, so you get eyeshadows on each side, and then in the middle it has 4 large shades for like blushing and blush and highlighters and stuff. And I just didn't find myself using that, so like I gave it to my mom because I figured like she could use the inside colors for the blush and stuff and the highlighting. But we weren't really, neither one of us really found ourselves using the eyeshadows. The colors were like sea green, blue, lots of greeny blue shades, and a few like random ones, but the color payoff was just meh. It wasn't up to par or anything, but the blushes were okay. I just found myself using other blushes, so wasn't too happy with that one. So I guess that would be my biggest regret. I'm sorry that I can't show it to you, but I just hope that you know what I'm talking about. And alright, so the next question, number 6, what are the best color names? I had to give that one up to my Esperanza palette again, because let me just tell you. Actually, anything by Kat Von D has really cool and interesting names on their colors. So I'll actually pull up another one by Kat Von D. But this one is definitely my favorite. So the color shades in here are Placebo, Galore, Dog Roses, South, Angel Fire, Santeria, Selena, Dayglow, and yeah, I think that's it. But aren't those really cool names? She always comes up with the best names. Now this one is really interesting, actually. This is another Kat Von D palette, of course. This one is definitely was my favorite for a really long time. And the colors in here range from Lucifer to, alright, so Lucifer, Dorian Gray, Glotch, Holy Bible, Violator, Ace of Spades, Lindsay Jane, and Disco Dust. So those are really fun names in my opinion. So I'll give it up to the Kat Von D palettes. So the one that I use the least, so you know, number 7 is the least used, and I have 2 of those, but one is more than the other, I guess. And you might be surprised by this if you actually watch my videos. When I first bought this palette, I went on a spree of using different, I did a whole bunch of different looks, and I really loved this when I first bought it. After I did those tutorials, honest to God, I really haven't touched it since then. I know it's so sad. I really want to start using them again, but I just found that I was using other palettes more than this one. So I'll show you what it looks like. In case you've never seen it, this is the Lorac Afterglow palette. This is a limited edition palette, so I'm sorry that this isn't, I mean, I guess it's the least used one, so it doesn't really matter, but the packaging looks like this. I do like the packaging. I like the colors. I like everything about it. Some shades are more pigmented and have a better color payoff than the others, I would say, for sure. Like the ones that have shimmer in it are a little bit harder to use, but the colors look like this. So there are some neutrals, some bright shades. I actually really love this one here. It has a matte white and a shimmery, I don't know, you'd call this like a champagne color maybe. So, I mean, I really want to start using this again, but I found myself going for more neutral eyeshadow looks lately. So maybe when I'm feeling more colorful, I'll go back to this. But right now, this is definitely like one of the least used palettes that I have in my collection. And besides that, I have this Tarte High Performance Naturals. Now this has been around for, I think, for a while. I saw somebody on YouTube do like a review on it back in December, so I know it's been around for a while. And I saw this at Ulta.com, and I was just intrigued by it because I've never owned anything by Tarte before, and I just thought that the colors were, you know, pretty much right up my alley. So these are what the shades look like. This also has a plastic insert and no mirror. And so what I did with the plastic insert is I took it out, I cut the names off into strips, and I hot glued them right underneath the shadows so that way I could still see the names of the shadows, but at the same time it's not gonna, I don't know, like interfere with the eyeshadows or anything, so I just put them right underneath. They fit perfectly. And I thought that was a really cool idea. I wish it had a mirror. I just don't find myself using it as much as I would like to. I do think that it has a lot of really cool colors in here, so I would like to use it more often. It's just, come on now, look at all my eyeshadows. I know that I do makeup for other people, but for myself, like, I only have 2 eyes, and there's only so much eyeshadow like one single person is going to use up. I did use this green shadow on somebody yesterday because her dress had some green in it and it looked really cool, but at the same time, like, I find myself gravitating towards other palettes before this one. So, well, look at the packaging. Isn't that so cute? Alright, I'm getting off track. This video is getting long. I'm going to try to hurry up here. So, I'm sorry. The most, alright, so the next question is the most used. And I think that the palette I use the very most would be the Chocolate Bar palette. I'll tell you why. Every time that I'm doing a neutral eyeshadow look, I use this color right here, Salted Caramel, in my crease as my transition shade. When I first bought this palette, this was one of the first high-end palettes that I have ever owned. And in the on the inside, it had a couple of options for different looks that you could do with this palette, and it said to use this in the crease, and so I thought that it looked really good when I first did it, and ever since then, I've just been using this, and that's pretty much like the only color that I want to put in my crease because I know it looks good, and I was really happy with that. But yeah, I just think that there's so many things I can do with this, so especially this color. And then if I already have this palette open, then I'm going to continue to use other shades in it. I really love this color. You can see that there's a dent in these two, and if I wanted to, you know, do something more neutral, sometimes I'll use this shade. So I just have a lot of use for this particular palette. So I would say that this is definitely the most used. If I'm going on a job, then I always take this palette with me. It's not a palette that I would ever depot or take apart, so I just throw the whole thing in my bag because I do use it quite a bit. Now the next question, number 9, is the most loved palette, and I'm going to go with this Kat Von D Sinner palette because in its day, when I first bought this, I used it so much. I think that these colors, for me personally, like in the wintertime, they're right up my alley. When I do eyeshadow looks with this, it looks so good. I know it's weird because it's kind of like, it reminds me of a hard candy palette. I forget the name of it, but this is the palette that I don't know, I just love it the most. And if I were to ever lose this, I would be really, really sad. Number 10, Desert Island palette. So that means, you know, if I were trapped on a desert island and I could only bring one eyeshadow palette with me, what would it be? Which is kind of weird because you wouldn't think makeup would be the first priority. Anyways, you get the idea. I'm going to give it to my Chocolate Bar palette. I really am. Because, you know what? There's 16 shades in here. There's so much you can do. I mean, it has this, they're so soft. The colors are so soft. But anyways, yeah, so they have this flesh toned, or at least my flesh tone. It has a mirror. I don't know. I thought long and hard about it. I was almost going to pick the Nude palette, but instead I decided to go with the Chocolate Bar. So I'd be taking this with me, and I would probably eat the eyeshadows because it smells like chocolate, and if I'm on a desert island, I'm assuming that I would probably be starving, so I would bring the Chocolate Bar. And I just wanted to talk about the last palette that I didn't even mention in this whole video, and that's my Naked 2. This is the only Naked palette that I have, and I don't know, it's just not even, there's too many shimmery shades in this, And the color I use the most is called Tease, and I can't show it to you because I've depotted some of them, because I took out my favorite shades and I put them in a separate palette, like one of my DIY palettes that I use to take with me when I do like freelancing and stuff. But I don't know, I just have nothing to say about this palette. I just didn't really, I don't know, it's kind of sad, but I don't really use it that much. I don't know, I don't really like it. Makes me sad, but what, I don't know. I just hope that you liked watching this. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you agree with what I've said about any of these palettes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!